I sincerely appreciate my guest because she didn't hold back anything. I have to basically confront her about the fact that what is a guy looking for in your house? She now finally said it was also in her house. So whether in your house or in her house, I made her to realize that every young lady, everybody must set healthy boundaries to avoid the story that touched. I'm so grateful that her husband is hearing this. I'm not sure if he had heard it before, but it's a sign of strength, stability, understanding how life is, especially when you're in love, to be able to manage the ripple, the effects. Because for every storm, for every trauma, for every abuse, for every form of molestation, there will always be a backlash. There will always be a side effect. Something must come as a ripple effect of what had happened. And for him to be able to manage the situation. Yes, welcome my guest. Now, has she ever told you all of these stories before?
Thank you so much, Ma, for the privilege to share our story on this platform. I believe it's a great opportunity because it's going to heal so many homes, to amend so many hearts. And it's not just sharing the story with one or two people. It's going to go all over the world. It's on the internet, so everybody will have access to it. So thank you for having me, ma.
My pleasure, sir.
Yes,
thank you for
yes,
coming.
Ma.
Is there any point in time she actually shared this gory, painful, scary experience? Is there any time she ever shared it with you when you got married?
Yes, ma. It was at a point when our daughter, when she was, becoming overprotective as a result over her. So I noticed that I was like, why all this and all of that? So that was when she shared the story. And it got to a point when she was even telling her that she had to be wearing nikah each time she wants to sleep. She has to be cautious the way, wherever she is and all of that. So at that point in time, that was when she shared the story.
At every point in time when a man or a woman go through anything in life, there's always an outlet. She was just letting it out because she made a statement. She said she vowed that if she's privileged to have a girl child, she's going to let her virginity give back to the society. I'm smiling because you don't let your pain does not give back to your society. Your pain brings back shame, embarrassment, passing a negative baton to the society. Whatever you have been through, whatever life has thrown at you, you need to sit down and heal. When you have gone through the process of healing and you have totally come out of the pain and the trauma and the embarrassment, then you come out to become a wounded healer. So she actually got it wrong by thinking, if I have to overprotect my child and put her in a coffin, quote and unquote, that is when I'm going to make her to keep her virginity, to become the as a reward to the society. It does not work that way. You need to heal. You need to go through the process of recovery. And let me say this, recovery is like peeling an onion. We keep unfolding the layers. We keep pulling it out one after the other. If she had gone through a healing process, she would not put so much pressure on her daughter. She will actually build the self-confidence and the self-worth of her daughter to an extent that the girl would just be walking shoulder high, knowing nothing would happen to her because she would have explained why that happens and protected that from happening to her. But because she's speaking from the place of her pain, she will definitely, be overprotective. That was counterproductive. What she was trying to protect became an issue. No wonder Job said, what I fear most has happened to me. All she was doing to protect that child from any form of sexual assault had to boomerang on her. She became emotionally damaged, having to go through therapy. Now, coming back to you, I said something when you said she has to be wearing nikah. I actually asked her, did you also that time, did you have a knife trying to protect her? Because it just dawned on me that just not wearing, because she told you she started wearing nikah to sleep and all of that, and I just picture it in my mind that she must have had a knife, that any man that comes across my path trying to do what is not right, I'm going to make sure that I take my pound of flesh. Now, coming back to you, when you started noticing this and your daughter started feeling the heat and the impact of what the mother had gone through or she told you about, how did you manage her in a way? I'm asking the question intentionally because I have so many men out there that when they know their wives had baggages and have issues they are struggling with, they just, just pack her aside and believe is your life, you can paddle your canoe yourself and all. How did you, because I know the marriage is still intact, that's why you're here. There are 7 stages in every marriage relationship. The honeymoon stage, this realization, the nagging, the explosive, the divorce, then back to the honeymoon. Now, coming to the stage where you find yourself having to deal with this kind of baggages that your wife is bringing to the home, the way there are 5 women in the life of every man: your daughter, your mother, your sister, a strange woman, they are there in the life of every man, and of course, the wife. How did you manage that part of her life that has not made you to lose the whole marriage and tell yourself you're tired? I mean, why? Because you became puzzled about the way she was overprotecting your daughter. But how were you able to manage her in the midst of all of this? Because I tell people that wedlock is padlock. The key is thrown to Atlantic Ocean. So you stuck together, but some people will walk out because they can't manage that kind of excesses, especially when you are hurting a daughter that you both love, especially you that is your girlfriend, as it were, quote and unquote. Every man, their daughter is their girlfriend. Just understand that. When you have a baby girl, a girl child, you actually have 2 wives, or you have a second woman in your life, because that man will protect her daughter to anything. So how did you manage that particular episode of all these overprotected, don't go out, wear nika, wear take knife, do everything so as not to be molested? How did you manage that?
Yeah, thank you. Initially, I actually understood that it was our past, and every one of us has a past. I have my own too. So what I noticed initially is that, like, our daughter has been very close to me. She's free to talk and all of that. Even when she wants to go out, she'll come to me freely and just discuss. And me, as like talking about my own past too, I've been on the streets, so I know what is going on there. So I wouldn't mind her going out, but I'll just tell her the tricks,
the antics
of guys out there, what they tell them to deceive them and all of that, that I love you, why they do not really have the love, and talking about how they deceive them. Like, somebody is saying, what is your name? You just say one nasty name that is not even, it's not that palatable to hearing, and they say, that's a very fine name, that's a beautiful name. That's in the course of deceiving them. So I try to educate her on all those words that guys use to deceive, that when they say this, they don't really mean it and all of that. And it became at a point, my wife was like, seeing her always talking to me, she doesn't want to open up on those kind of a thing. And, normally, like you said, now you just mentioned like 5 kind of women in people's life. It would be kind of like being jealous. She believes she should be closer to her, talking to her, than, because she has the experience and how to lead her in the right way.
One thing I needed to bring to this public space is very clear. As a father, like I said, your father takes you further and further. The saving grace over her life till date, apart from the things that her mother went through and trying to be overprotective, is because her father is still in the picture. We have 4 types of fathers. We have a shadow dad, we have a missing in action dad, we have a boundary buster dad, we have a critical dad. Now, all this father figure has a negative impact in the life of a child. So her dad was not a missing in action. That was why she could find solace or comfort in having to just tell him things. Then the mother became jealous, saying that me, I have more experience. Whether you like it or not, ladies gravitate to their dad. So leave that on a side and do your best as a woman or as a mother. The moment you are trying to compete with your daughter because it's relating with your husband, you are going to be under serious pressure and there will be tension in the home. A man, there's an adage that even says that it's only a thief that knows how to handle a thief on the rock. We know because he's a man and he said he has been on the street, so he knows the ways of guys. The reason why the mother is overprotective is because of her baggages. Sincerely, when your father takes you further, your father teaches you, guides you, and guards you, you are not likely to enter into trouble because your daddy knows what's up, as it were. So thank you so much for that. Go ahead and tell us how you were able to manage that.
So I'll just let my wife understand, because so many times, even when I'm not around, when I'm working in Lagos, she will always call me as her daughter, just tell me, my mommy has done this. I will just let her know that she's just trying to protect you. She doesn't want, all this. She knows why she's doing this. It's just because of you, because of your future and all of that. She should just leave me alone. She's this, that.
That's a teenager for you.
So that, you just mentioned like a teenager, they are not yet adults and they don't want to believe their children.
No.
They are in between.
Younger. That's why I call them young adults. For them to feel good.
So they are in between. They want to believe they are already adults, And I could read in her at that time, she actually wanted to explore the world as it's
That's a state, because it's so much competition. Mm-hmm. She will share with us. She will tell us their world, what happens in their own world. We are not in their world. There's a lot of competition. So I understand. Yes, go ahead.
So she wanted to explore, and our mommy actually understood that, and it was just trying to stop it, that you can't do this. So when she wants to go out like that, I'll just ask her some questions. Where are you going? Mostly because she finished from ISI in UI. So mostly she always wants to go to UI to meet her friends. Okay, what are your friends like? Who are they? What do you want to really do there? She would explain. So that if she does, I'll now give her time. What time are you really coming? She will give me time and I'll be watching the time. That because you have to come
you
at
must
the time.
Have a time of curfew.
So when she's going there, she's always conscious of what I've told her in the past, that you have to be careful, you have to be this and all of that. So, and most time she's always keeping to time.
That is about your daughter now. Yeah. What about your wife? When I know there are some things we don't want to say here in the public, but when you experience such, we will code it, but we have to say it because people want to learn. When you go through such, it affects a lot of things. Some ladies, when they experience such sexual harassment growing up, they go crazy to the other world, sleeping around, messing around. But some will now also be rigid. They don't want to, they are afraid of their husband. They're afraid to relate with their husband as husband and wife will relate because of the experiences. Do you have any way in which she was kind of rigid, or did you notice any attitude in her that shows that this girl, something went wrong? You didn't trust. You have trust issue. I'm not the person that hurts you. Why are you thinking I'm the person that hurts you? It happens. Professionally speaking, I have a voice note here that somebody was telling me that this particular girl, she was raped when she was young and she can sleep with anything now. And that is the two extremes. When people are sexually molested, they can be rigid sexually. That's what I'm even trying to say. They can be rigid sexually in their marriage, that their husband will be just, well, I'm not the rapist. You do have to, when you newly got married, the question is, when you newly got married, when you have to explain yourself over and over again, or it is when she started raising her children that you notice this. I have to, as a therapist, as a professional, if it is when she started raising her kids that thing came up or popped up, is a different therapy on its own. Or probably if it was when you got married, you started noticing it. At what point in time of course, the point of her raising her daughter was clear. But what about your relationship? Was there any time you are wondering, why is this woman acting like this? Why is she treating me like this? I'm not the abuser. I'm not the rapist. Was there any time that happened in the relationship?
Yeah, thank you. But from the very beginning, I think I had issue of trust with her. She doesn't trust anything.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'm a very, I don't want to, I'm a very plain person. I will tell you as it is, either you believe it or not. There are some things that I will say that you cannot even imagine I will say it. But our own is that, like, even when we were dating, I was always sincere. Even when it comes to issue of money, anything, I will tell you. But she does not believe all those kind of things. I mean, I was like, it was at a point it was getting me pissed off. I was like, since you have married me, don't you know how to study people? If I have been this kind of a person, by now you should have known. And she actually knows how to study people. When she sees somebody, she will, starts, but she's always suspicious. And I think her background has created that. She's always suspicious. That's just it. Even when somebody is talking to you, you're like, should they trust them? I was like,
calm down, calming down like this.
Give the person a benefit of doubt and let's see what happens and all of that. And I think it was from the very beginning, I've noticed that she's always suspicious, the trust, but now I think she's getting over it.
You know, when I talk like this, I'm grateful that I have practical person or people to bring it out the way I've been saying it. I've said it multiple times. When you have such a background, when the male figures in your life, whether your father or a man or a stranger, male figures in your life, when they are abusive, it kills something in you. It kills trust for men. And that was why all the times they were newly married, she was so apprehensive till it transferred to her, to raising her children. And that is why I insist that people should seek professional intervention at every point of their woundedness. I will say it again. I'm advising and I'm saying it. At every point of your woundedness, seek professional intervention. You lost someone, somebody raped you, somebody lied against you, somebody broke your heart. Seek a professional intervention. I'm not saying seek everybody, go and tell everybody. You don't cry before someone that will not say sorry to you. Get into therapy. I discovered it's only on this side of life. And that's why we're insisting, we are propagating, we are doing a crusade that people should seek help. I'm sure she soaked herself in religiosity, in prayers. Prayers is important. Being religious is important. But there is a limit to what that can do when your soul has been crushed by toxicity, by rape, molestation of any sort. You need to seek help. And when you are seeking help, make sure you are ready to be helped. A lot of people go to therapy and they've made up their minds. They've concluded, if you are the kind of a person that you've made up your mind about your issue that you don't want help, even God cannot help you. The worst gift God gave to a man is a gift of choice, and that is the best gift. I want to say thank you for bringing that out, because if you have not observed it, it will look like, okay, everything is fine. Everything is not fine. And when you are pressed in life, the marital pressure is there. It is what is inside of you that will come out, and that is exactly what I have noticed in this episode.
All these things have helped in our marriage, and has helped in our continuity. And I believe if I've not been doing this, I would have been having a lot of problems between her and my family members. And up to now, there's no way, there's no how. We have all these problems between her and my family members, because I believe our own family members, they know her better than my own family. And I don't want all this kind of negative side, because she has this very good heart. One of the reasons why I actually married her. Her methodology might be very wrong, but her heart is very right, very plain. And there's no way you can explain this to your family member. They will think you are saying something else. So for me, my own job is just to protect her away from them. So we've not been having problems as concerning that, and that's what has kept us going.
Wow. It's so amazing that we still have men like this in the world, because these are real men that would do everything to add value to their homes, pay the price, sacrifice to make sure their wives are not exposed, because the man is the head. The moment the head is out of the body, that's the end. In your head, you have your brain, you have your eyes, you have your nose, you have your mouth. Your husband covers you. And when you see a man that covers his family, wow, that's a very good one. Now, he said something that I needed to just say in this light. When you see a woman or a man act somehow, act strangely, the first thing is to trace it. I have a nickname. Trace it, embrace it, erase it, and start replacing it. If you can't trace it, you cannot embrace it. If because he was able to understand the dynamics of where she's coming from, she embraced it. She traced it. She was able to know the root. She embraced it. She held on to it and said, okay, the reason why she has trust issues, the reason why she's overprotective of her daughter, the reason why she gave a reason, not an excuse, but a reason. And with that, she was able to deal with his wife according to knowledge. And the Bible says that, husband, deal with your wife according to knowledge. There are different types of knowledge. We have the epignosis and we have the gnosis. The epignosis is a general knowledge. The gnosis, that's the Hebrew word, is a detailed knowledge. He was able to have the detailed knowledge of his wife, and that really helped him to manage some KNOTTY situations, naughty situations. He was able to manage all those KNOTTY situations, naughty situations, to really have his family together. I genuinely appreciate that on his behalf. He's still coming back to, we're going to get into a very interesting part. Now, have you forgotten that what brought this to table was because I needed to hear teenagers tell us the things they needed to tell their parents, and their parents are not listening, or their parents are not paying attention to. Now, when she opened the can of, I can't go out, I'm paranoid, I have OCD, I'm just everywhere, I'm not breathing, my mom. I said, I don't want to bring this out, but I'm grateful because of one thing. They know that if one life is better, it will affect other lives. Connecting to me by relationship made them to consent to come. And sincerely, I appreciate it. I want you to stay tuned. We're still going to have an amazing time, because we are going to the teenager. The daddy will still talk, the mommy will still talk. I need to listen to them. She will hear them. They will hear her today. It's going to be amazing. Subscribe to this channel. Don't listen alone. Tell someone about it. Like and subscribe to my channel. Looking forward to having you in the next session. Thank you for watching.